If you are training and you're over 40, especially if you're training for personal protection and whatnot, you're not going to want to miss this episode. I'm interviewing personal trainer Kelly Jansen and KJ-Fitt, and we're going to be talking about how do you train over 40, how do you prevent injuries and recover from injuries, and how do you have functional fitness and nutrition. So that's what we're covering today. Join us on the Peace Walker podcast. Hello, this is Craig Gray. You're on the Peace Walker podcast. This is episode 239, and today I'm interviewing Kelly Jansen of KJ-Fitt. And we're talking about how do you train, and it could be just in general, but really a lot of the folks that I work with and a lot of the folks that are listening out there are 40 or over. I like to say 40-ish. And, things change. I'm right now, in the time of this recording, I'm 54 years old. I've been training my whole life. I've had a fair share of, the usual stuff, injuries and setbacks and accomplishments and all that, the gamut. But things change. And it's been a cool ride because, training for my entire life, I've kind of witnessed from a personal perspective my own body changing and having to keep up with those changes. And, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I've trained literally thousands of people over the years of all levels and all ages and size and shapes and all this. And, it's been an interesting ride with that too, of helping people reach their goals and not get wrecked and be functional out there in their lives. Before we get into that, and Kelly's getting out of her Maserati now, so let me get this in. And you know that I always invite you to join our community at the beginning and end of this podcast. So this will be no different. If you'd like to get more in depth in this, what I call PeaceWalker Lifestyle, why don't you join us? If you go to peacewalker.mn.co, I know it's kind of a long one, but peacewalker.mn.co, it's our own private network. It's a free network. You're going to get access to more training and connection to the community. And it's a big thing having a connection to a good community because you're out there, sometimes you're flying by the seat of your pants, you feel like you're all alone, or you're getting spammed and scammed by all these trollers on Facebook and Instagram and all this. You want a close-knit group of folks, even if it's online, that you can connect with and bounce things off from and learn from and share. And I developed this community to do just that. It's a private community. So if you get wonky, you get kicked out. That's what it boils down to. But you can get access to training and community and all that. And not to mention, you're also going to get access to my almost daily emails, where almost every day I'm going to share with you a tip, trick, and a tactic wrapped up into a story about how do you live this Peace Walker life? How do you become a better protector? How do you take those skills and that perspective into everything that you do, into your relationships with your family, with your kids, with your significant other, with your friends, with your profession on whatever it is that you do, whether you're a police officer or a teacher or a factory worker, or it doesn't matter. How do you utilize these skills in real time? So get on it. peacewalker.mn.co will get you into our free private community. So there you go. And with that being said, I promised you a little while back that I'm going to start doing more interviews. And I'll be honest, it's challenging. It's not really as challenging to get the people. I've got a lot of good colleagues and friends and folks that I have been hanging with who have a lot of knowledge to share. It's just me. I got to get off my lazy butt and schedule these things more often. So thank you for joining us. And today we have someone who I've known for quite a long time. She's a wonderful person. She's an entrepreneur, a personal trainer, and she's the owner of KJ-Fitt, and her name is Kelly Jansen. So welcome today, Kelly.
Hey Craig, thank you for having me on. I'm really excited and honored, and yeah, we go way back. In fact, I've taken training from you back in the day,
Back
and
in the day, back
it's
in the Fight Club days.
right, Fight Club. Yeah, so it's definitely helped me on my journey, and fitness has always been a part of who I am and what I've done. But in the beginning of this podcast, you'd mentioned change. Boy, things do change, right? Body's
Do.
just not that of a 20-year-old anymore. And, mentally you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I can go run that mile or whatever. And your body's just like, nope.
Well,
Things,
I know I told the story, and a lot of the folks who, if they're longtime listener, first time caller, but if they're longtime listeners, or follow me at all, a few years back, I tore both of my hamstrings, and I was bruised from the bottom of my ass cheek to eventually to my Achilles on both
ugh,
legs, and I was just doing my regular workout. I was running Richmond Hill. I remember Richmond Hill. I was
hmm
running Richmond Hill, actually running down it, and I got a little tweak. And then I'm
hmm
like, ah, crap. And usually, like in the past, I just work through things like, come on, suck it up, Buttercup, let's go. So I got to the bottom of the hill. I stretched out a little bit, kind of worked it. And I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see. And I started running again, and I made it maybe, I don't know, maybe 20 yards. And I started gimping again, and I did the same thing. I did it like 3 times, and I finally figured out this isn't going to get better. And it was before class, so I had to like walk all the way back to
Mm.
class. I was almost late because I usually run, those times I usually run 3 to 5 miles before class, and yeah, then my legs were killing me for I don't know several days. It's kind of funny, but I was actually relieved when I saw the bruise come on. I'm like, oh, I'm not being a wimp, It's like I
Right?
really did something. So, anyways, I've got a bunch of stories, as you know, but we're not here today for me. We're here to listen to you. So,
Yeah, so yeah, thanks for the introduction. Yep, Kelly Jansen's. And yeah, lifetime fitness enthusiast. And I would say probably it was like around 2020 when everything shut down. And I love to go to the gym and the gyms weren't open. And I'm like, okay, now what am I gonna do? Like I suddenly forgot how to work out. And the thing is that you can do it anywhere. Like you don't need much space and just the old-fashioned calisthenics, right? And you probably include some of these things into your training, like push-ups and sit-ups and, do some mountain
absolutely.
climbers,
And when we
so
train cops for years, a lot of police officers, after the academy, many don't really train that much. So, I've done work with a lot of Marines, and Lieutenant Colonel Joe Shushko developed what he called the 5, 10, 15, 20. So you would just pick different body parts so you get all your body. Like for instance, we would do 5 push-ups, 10 squats, 15 jumping jacks, and 20 crunches. And then we would,
mhm.
just repeat that for 5 or 10 minutes as fast and as intense as, you could without wrecking yourself. And just start there. I get a lot of people coming to the academy who want to train. They're like, what should I do to get, kind of in shape? And I tell them that it's like it's very easy. You can do it anywhere. You can do it in a hotel room. You can do it at home, outside, wherever.
Yep.
And literally start with 5 minutes, and then if you want to, bump it up to 10 minutes or whatever.
hmm Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I was in a place where just kind of a low point where like probably a lot of us, just like you're confined to your house and you don't have that interaction with humans. And then also I was my nutrition was not on. I used to be able to, as you know, eat 3 hamburgers a week, shakes, fries, no problem. And
That's like
I remember you
that's
saying
another
to me, you're like,
story.
it's gonna catch up with you. It's gonna catch. I'm
I
like,
know you
yep.
would
And
always eat
so
like shit. You would
and
hamburgers.
it did like the no matter like it was just it so that was kind of like my tipping point where I had to do something for myself. Like this is ridiculous. I had the brain fog going. I gained weight. I just didn't feel good about myself. I was tired. I wasn't sleeping well, and just things changed. And so I knew at that point I needed to change. And so my first step was I got with a nutritionalist who is a friend.
Nutritional friend.
Nutritional
Everybody
friend,
should have a nutritional friend or
nutritionist
two.
that is a friend, and she got me set like, okay, just basics. Let's start here with some supplements, and what are you eating? And
Yep.
I actually wasn't eating enough calories. I was on and eating not good calories, like full
Deficiency.
calories, not filling my tank like I should. So it started with that, and then yeah, just working out, just little by little, just some of those, calisthenics just right here in my office, which is not very big at all. You don't need a lot of space to start working out. So it was a conscious decision to say, I need this. I need to feel healthy. I want to be the best person, physically, mentally, and spiritually that I can be. So I started there. And then I went and took my certification to be a personal trainer because I'm like, I think I got this.
And that was
And,
pretty in depth too. I mean, that was no
oh,
joke, right?
yeah, and I'm not really like an academic scholar. It was a serious test, like it was serious. And but yeah, I did it. I pushed through it. I passed. In
So
fact, I passed
what organization was that through?
National Academy of Sports Medicine,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is the highest accreditation that you can get being a personal trainer. And they take it serious, and you have to as well. So just a ton of studying. And then after I got that certificate, I went and got my nutritional
Nice.
coaching certificate because really, if you're not on with your nutrition, you can exercise as much as you want, and the old saying, you can't outrun a bad diet, and it's true. It's true. You got to have your nutrition on first.
Yeah, I mean that's I think at least for me that's harder than the working out part, I think. And a lot of people, they go to the gym or whatever, but then their nutrition's just in the crapper. And it's interesting because I mean if you think about it, you know, you can easily go out and eat 500 to 1,000 calories easy. The workout that it would take to burn 500 or 1,000 calories is a lot. I mean, unless you're, Michael Phelps or a Navy SEAL or something who's burning 10, 12,000 calories a day because you're going through, the rungs. Most people are not burning that in their workouts, you know. Like I worked out this morning. It was a light workout this morning. Actually, I was at your place at the Croc Center,
Oh.
and I got a little workout and stretching. It was kind of a later day today, but I mean, according to the little fitness machines there, I maybe burned 200 calories, maybe.
Hmm. Yep.
And, and I was there for about an hour. And again, it was a lighter day today, but it takes a lot more than what people think to burn those calories. And if you're eating, those hamburgers and fries and big heavy dinners, it's, uh, it's not even an uphill battle. You
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah. And the portion size, obviously, too,
Yeah.
But a big thing for me, or what I preach, is, getting your protein in, knowing where you need to be for protein. But if you're leveling that out, say you have 3 square meals a day, 30 grams in the morning, 30 grams at lunch, 30 grams at night. You want to pair that with fiber, 7 to 10 grams of fiber per your 30 grams of protein. That's just a starting place. And it sounds like a lot, but it's really a good place to start. We need protein. Plus, you'll feel fuller, right? You'll be fuller, especially towards the end of the night if you just kind of veg out or whatever and you always have that bowl of chips or whatever that is. You're not going to want to go for that because you're satisfied. You feel full, and your body needs it. Your body needs that to make, or protein to make muscle. It's also just good for your metabolism to get that metabolism going up. But that's just kind of like the basics where to start.
Yeah, so I mean, you can confirm or deny this. I don't know about the protein, but usually what I understood was at a minimum, you should have 1 gram protein per 2 pounds of your body weight. And then you add, is it 1 pound?
1 pound, yep, 1 pound.
So
Yeah,
a
if you're
200-pound person needs 200 grams of
mhm,
protein.
mhm,
Hmm.
yep.
There you
Yep,
go,
that's
folks.
yep. And I'll get that backed up by let's see, Dr. Gabriel I can't think of her last name right now, but she has a book out about Live Strong, and she's a former bariatrics doctor. So she's done all this research and about how important it is to have protein in your diet, because most of the folks that end up in these clinics for bariatrics, um, the whatever the they have to go there to figure out what's wrong, and most of their bodies is fat,
Right.
and
Well, as
so
you get older, I mean,
yeah, you
you're,
you lose muscle as you get older, and we want to keep muscle. We want, especially our skeletal muscle. We're not talking like bodybuilder or anything like that, just like the basics that you need.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'll guarantee you people aren't even getting, I think if most people, because going all over the place. I remember a couple years ago, went in for my blood work and all that, and then they did proteins. Like, well, you're a little low on their protein, and I'm conscious of it, and it's easy to be, I think, have a high carb diet because everything we eat, especially if you're eating out and all that, most everything's carbs, and everything's made with like high fructose corn syrup, and everything. There's a lot of corn out there as far as like just made with your food. I mean, if you look at, okay, let's say you go to Subway, which, as fast food goes, is decently healthy, healthier than a lot of places. But, well, again, I know I see your look, but just talking about the average person,
Yes,
staying
yes.
in line going to McDonald's
Hmm.
versus going to Subway is probably a better choice. But if you look at the protein content, and then obviously you're talking processed foods and all that kind of stuff. Not everybody can have, organic chow chow every day and that, which would be better. But it's hard to eat well. It's hard to eat. You really have to be mindful and conscious of it. There's a great place around my house here. It's Harvest Health. It's been there for a long time, so it's all, health food store. So I shop there all the time. But I'll be honest, not all my stuff is healthy that I eat. I try to, but it's also really expensive to eat healthy. But it's more expensive not to, if you think
Yeah,
about
then
it.
you find yourself with prescription drugs, or you're visiting
Exactly.
a doctor. So,
Right.
I would err on to, use go when you go to the store, stay on the outside. Don't go in the center aisles because that's where all the packaged stuff is. Eat
Hmm.
whole foods,
Right.
you know? And yeah, some of the meat, you have to make sure that that's, lean, and it's healthy too. And you just have to be a smart shopper and being able to read labels. But whole foods is what you need to be eating, and then pair it with proteins. And the best really protein is animal meat. And for
Hallelujah. Some good
yeah, vegans
steaks.
out
Some
there,
good
you
steaks.
have to eat like your 3,500 to 5,000 calories to get, all your proteins out of, beans, legumes,
Oh yeah.
that kind of thing. So, but yeah, you can do it. And, there's a lot of thrift type stores, like the Aldi's, they have good produce.
Yeah. All these has a lot of great stuff.
Yep.
So what about veggies?
Yeah, load
Vitamin.
up on them. Yep. So if you look at your plate and you say, okay, I'm going to have 3 to 6 ounces of meat, depending on how much protein you need to hit, you start with that. Okay. And then, yeah, of course, your vegetables, and you can have handfuls of vegetables, your spinach or what have you. And then for fruit, you would probably need like a cup and a half or 2 cups of fruit. So that could be your fiber along, with your protein throughout the day.
Good start. It's a
It's a
good
good
start.
start. It's a good start. It's basics. Oh, and then the doctor's name is Dr. Gabriel Lyons, Lyons. If you look her up, she has some podcasts on all the structural muscle and how it's important. She has a great book out. And then there's some different meal plans and things like that in her book.
So you said whole foods, fresh foods,
Mhm.
lean meats or lean proteins, veggies. What about supplements? What do you think about supplements?
Oh, and you get your healthy fats in there too.
I get your healthy fats.
Healthy fats. Supplements, for me personally, I do a good brand whey powder, and it's called supplement for a reason. It's not a meal replacement,
Right.
but I typically will do after I work out, I'll do like a whey powder and put, some handful of strawberries, handful of spinach. I also use creatine.
Yeah.
So that's a muscle help enhancer builder, but it's after when you work out, you're actually shredding your muscles. It's kind of like ground hamburger, and then it needs time to repair. So then you have your backup shake, or maybe it's just that you have some protein and some uh you know protein and your fiber out of whole foods, and maybe it's some eggs or what have you, but you need to repair the muscles, and that's also why you don't work out every single day doing the same things. I mean, you
Right,
can
right,
work,
right.
but you don't
Yeah.
want to be like lifting weights, 2 days in a row unless you're using different body
Body
parts.
parts, right.
That's
Yeah,
how
and
you
that's
get
me
burn
too. I
out.
mean, like today I stretched and I did a little cardio machine and I did some kettlebell training, mainly legs. Yesterday I did upper body and I stretch pretty much every day because my back. But
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Yep. Stretching is good for everyone, and when you first get out of bed, make sure your body's warmed up a little bit before you start going into some static stretches because that's a good way to pull something.
oh, absolutely, yeah, you gotta do something. What do you recommend for some dynamic warm-ups?
Um, I would just get your arms moving, some big circles with your arms,
Just like in
bringing,
elementary school, remember?
yeah.
Remember in Fairview?
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, start with your arms. I mean, it's all the things that we learned as kids in gym class,
Yep.
and I think that I
You
don't
get
know
out the
what
parachute.
right? Yep, climb the rope, but yeah, you want to just make sure your body, and it doesn't take long, maybe 3, 5 minutes depending, on your body, but yeah, just big circles, bring your knees up to your elbows, do some stand crunches, and maybe some low impact jumping jacks,
Yep.
and then when you're feeling like you're warmed up, then you can get into those static stretches. You can stretch right in bed too, just
Sometimes I
take.
have to get out of it.
Yes, yeah, and that's okay. I mean, I mean, we do what you need to do. I mean, always listen to your body. But yeah, you don't ever want to go into stretching these dynamic stretches with not first warming up your muscles.
Right. A lot of people, I think, don't realize that. They think the static stretching, I think they believe that to be the warm up,
Yes.
you know, and now you got to get the blood flowing and the joints moving and your tissue kind of loosen up a little bit before you start static stretching. Because that's a big thing. Because I'll run this by and you can confirm, deny, or add or whatever. But there's probably 7 areas that are really key that I focus in on, especially over, again, 40-ish. Seems like when you're younger, you could get away with a lot, just
Hmm.
because you're young. And as you get older, you've got to dial things in more, or you are going to just get wrecked, or you're not gonna get the results you want. And I noticed probably, I don't know, I would say in my late 30s, definitely late 30s by early 40s, that I was training more for sustainability and less for performance. I just woke up one day and went, I'm really doing more of this just so I, feel good and I'm
Hmm.
functionally fit.
Functional.
And,
Yeah.
I still do, every once in a while I do a competition or something like Spartan race or whatever, but I haven't done martial arts competitions in 20 years, but nor do I really have any plans to. But anyways, mobility, flexibility,
Mhm.
stamina, which is cardio and musculature stamina, strength training, balance training, breath, and then diet. And those are kind of the 7 areas that um, in my view, need to be balanced out and really paid attention to when you're 40-ish to really dial those things in. Does that sound familiar to you? You
Oh yeah, yep,
confirm, deny,
absolutely.
or add or subtract?
Especially, yeah, the mobility, just being able to, those functional moves that we do each day, like for instance, like get out of a chair.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
you can stand up without rocking yourself up, that means that you probably got a good core. Core is really important. But as we get older, you go visit grandma at the nursing home. First of all, she can't stand up out of a chair. She's in a wheelchair probably. But before she got there, she wasn't doing the exercises or eating the way that she should have. And she's lost a lot of those muscles, those functional like moves to get out of a chair. I remember go visiting grandma and she'd be rocking herself trying to get up
Yeah.
out of the chair. So again, yeah, mobility is really important.
What
Um,
that happened with my aunt, right? So my aunt is now she's 90 or she will be 90. But
mhm,
she's in a home now. We put her in a home, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago now. And the reason she was having some really, she's a big gal. She wasn't always big, but she's a big gal. She didn't eat well. Well, actually, she ate really well, just the wrong stuff. She
mhm,
never worked out or anything, was not that active. And then she just gained a lot of weight, a lot of fat, not any muscle. And she would plop down to sit. Well, that
mhm,
plopping down, especially because she's bigger, eventually she had stress fractures in three of her vertebrae. She had to
oof,
have a surgery where they put this like bone spackle in. It's like this bone marrow, literally, it's like a spackle, it's a paste. And it's minimally invasive, but it still takes rehab and that. So they put it in there. This is before she went into the home, right? This is as she transitioned into the home. And because she was plopping down for however long, got injured, had the surgery, and then she was doing rehab, and she just really wasn't well enough to leave. And she's in assisted living at this point, but yeah, and I'm not trying to throw her under the bus, but it was a lot of this was avoidable. She would have a
mhm,
much better way of living right now if she would have worked out more, watched what she ate just a little bit, and she can barely walk now. She's got to have a walker. And, like if we take her anywhere, which now is rare because it's more and more difficult to move her around, I have to go in and lift her legs up into the car.
mhm,
So
yes.
she can kind of scuttle, but, she's fallen two or three times in the
Mhm,
past several months because it doesn't take much to tip her over, because she can't lift her feet very high. So she kind of scuttles around while she did a header just before Christmas, busted up her knee, and
oof,
it's so my point and your point, our point, I suppose, is this functional fitness. It's important if you want your quality of life to continue as you
mhm.
age and get 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's never a bad time or a wrong time to start. Just
Right.
start,
Start.
just move. And whether you're, 30 or you're 70 or on up, just get moving. And some of these things you can do in the convenience of your home, most of it you can. And balance is another thing too.
Yeah.
Got to be on
Huge.
your game with balancing. So I do some balance work. And a lot of it drives from just yoga practices, with the bird dogs or standing on one
Three
leg.
toes, a
Yeah,
lot
and
of
you
some of
you
the
can you
inversions.
can do those kind of things. You can brush your teeth and you can be like, okay, I'm going to stand on one leg for for
Yeah.
10 minutes here or whatever. I mean, 10 minutes, that's a long time to brush your teeth, but you know what I mean. Just every day, just have it in your brain to to move just in um it really you don't have to be in the gym every day. You don't have to be in the gym every day.
What?
No, nope, it's true. I mean, unless you enjoy going there, you don't have to kill yourself. If you're lifting weights, strength training is really important. So if you lifting, maybe 2, 3 times a week,
Yeah.
that's good. And then maybe your off days, maybe you're doing something else, like you're doing, Krav Maga, or you're taking like a nice walk, or maybe you're doing yoga,
Right.
everyday move. But the old thought, or at least I had this, is that I had to be in the gym. I was the aerobic queen, and I would literally just kill myself doing cardio. And at the end of it, it's just I walked out with no muscle.
Right.
Yeah, I might have been skinny, but I was kind of like the skinny fat. My heart was probably really
You were
good.
not skinny fat. You were skinny skinny.
But, but a lot of
You just
that, I mean,
had the vein. You just had the
yeah,
vein.
I am very vascular. Yeah, I still am, but I would say my composition of my body is more skeletal muscle, which is good. That's healthy, and for women, you got to lift heavy. Are you going to be a bodybuilder? No, no, you're not going to, unless you want to be. There's ways to get to that.
Sure.
But, a little bit of definition is good. And just, yeah, it's healthy. It's healthy. I mean, to have muscle, it balances out so many things, right? I mean, your
Absolutely.
metabolism, yeah.
All
So
your chemical cocktails that are going through, your hormones. You
hormones,
guys
yep.
out there, you want to boost your testosterone, start lifting weights more.
Absolutely. Yep, bone strength. We want healthy bones.
Yep, bone density.
Yep. So lifting, especially for ladies, try to lift as heavy as you can without hurting yourself. That's why there's personal trainers. And most gyms have personal trainers on staff. So yeah,
That's a good
make sure you
segue
know what
too
you're
of
doing.
let's talk about injury prevention a little bit and recovery. So we already talked about some of it, right? Which was
Hmm.
warm up, do some stretches, start
Yep.
slow. I mean, that's one of the big things
Start
in my industry.
slow.
People come in and they've been watching too much Jocko and David Goggins and all these
Hmm.
like top athlete BJJ people or Krav people,
Right.
Navy SEALs, and it's like, dude, you are 45 years old. You haven't worked out since you've been in high school. You're not a Navy SEAL. It's good to pretend, but if you want to last, you gotta listen and just start slow. Go
Yeah,
slow.
start slow. Again, it could starting slow may be just, at your home.
Hmm.
Try can you do 25 push-ups? Great. Do 25 push-ups every day consistently, and then add another two or five on, then so start slow. If you're like lifting or lifting at home or whatever, instead of 3 reps of 12, start slow. Maybe my goal today would be 3 sets of 8. And then the weight is determined by where you're at physically, right?
Right.
And so try that. Your goal is that. And then maybe you don't get through your first 3 sets. When you're starting out lifting, give it a good month of whatever that routine is, whatever that your personal trainer or somebody at the gym has helped you with, or maybe you're following a program online. But yeah, that's if you still think in your head, like sometimes I do it, like, oh, I'm 20, I can do this, your mind might think that, but your body says differently, right? And that's when you get hurt.
That's
That's
pretty
when you
good.
get burned out.
And then you can't train, right? You get
Then you
hurt,
can't you
then you
can't
can't
train.
train. I've been
Yeah.
gimping on I sprained my ankle. It was more than a slight sprain, but I sprained my ankle about, I don't know, it's about a month, I think, close, 3 weeks. And I'm still gimping around on it. I thought it was better, right? So I ran a little bit and it was not better. So it set me back. And I had my chiropractor dude do his magic on it and massage therapist, but I tweaked it a little bit in class and then I finished it off on the ice. I was walking home
Mm,
after that because I was kind of favoring it and I kind of lost my footing and I didn't twist it. I rolled it, right? So I rolled it. And
mm,
the point is I still do find other things to do, but I really gotta be careful. But yeah, if you wreck yourself, you're not going to be able to train. If you get burned
right.
out, you're not going to find the motivation to train.
Hmm.
And you got to find that balance for yourself. It's that is more challenging, I think, than people believe it to be, right? We're binge. We binge. It's like we don't do anything, and then we want to be the rock star.
Right.
And oftentimes we watch videos and don't really get good professional consulting or somebody to kind of mentor you through it. You think, it's simple, not easy. You can work out, but just go slow.
Yep. Yep.
And nutrition too. Nutrition helps for injury prevention and recovery. If your
Mhm.
body's not getting the right nutrients, it's going to be having a hard time healing. So, what other
Yeah.
things do you think, like prevention and recovery?
Yeah, just I mean, listening to your body, taking it slow. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So if you think, in my arena, I get a lot of I want to lose weight. And
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, well, let's see where you are. What are you doing? Where do you need to, how do you need to train? And then how many calories, are you taking? And I don't get like so bent around that. It's just a starting point.
sure.
And then you just adding in these nutritional whole foods and getting someone dialed in with like let's talk about protein. Just add protein. But like within months' time, if people don't see results, and sometimes when they're eating what they're supposed to be eating, like calorie wise, they actually gain some weight and then they
Sure.
freak out. And it's like throw the scale out. Like let's just focus on it. It takes probably a good like 3 to 4 months, where it takes your body, like you're resetting your body.
Yep.
It's like and so I guess just give yourself some grace. Just be patient with yourself and trust the process. That's what I had to do. And I had this old way of thinking about this excessive cardio
Mm.
and not really lifting
All the
weights.
Richard Simmons and
Yeah,
James Bond
yeah,
videos.
yeah. Like, yeah, just go, go, go. Like, beat your body, and it's really unhealthy.
Yeah,
It's really unhealthy. And low impact, low impact. Like gingerly walking is probably it's better for your body than running. And I know that some people love running, and they have these goals for races, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it is really hard on your joints. And just we wear out. Our body parts wear out,
it does.
and so you have to kind of look at things differently. I mean, I did. I to be honest, I don't do a ton of cardio. So my workout is, the stretching, warming up, hitting heavy weights. And at the end of my workout, which I call like my fat burner, I'll walk on the stepper for 10 minutes,
Hmm.
like really pump it up. But yeah, I've switched how I work out and how I work my clients out. But yeah, the weight loss thing is, it's a state of mind. I mean, it's just like what is your body composition made of? You know, is it all fat? Is it, a little bit of fat, muscle? Are you heavier on the muscle part? So
Well, a lot of
um
people, I think you hit the nail on the head too. A lot of people just are not patient. They want, because here's the deal. So let's say you're getting back in shape or getting in shape, whatever. So you pick a program, you get on the program. So you get to the gym. Now you're a little sore because your body's not used to working out. You start eating better. So now you're a little cranky because you're not eating all the shit food that you typically eat and not eating as much of it. And so let's say you jump on the scale and you started and you work out like you should, you eat like you should, and then you jump on the scale a couple days later and you're like, either nothing's changed or sometimes, like you say, maybe even gain a little weight.
mhm,
And
mhm.
if you throw it out then and stop, you're never going to see the benefits. And the same thing like with martial arts, when I teach people Krav, um, they come in, you don't walk out feeling like Bruce Lee or a Navy SEAL. You feel like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to protect myself. I felt like I was all thumbs, maybe caught onto a few things, but like we just had a new intro session start up Wednesday. And there was several people in there that were had previous experience. There was one gal that was from a different Krav Maga place, and there was another one who did MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all this type of thing. And there were some things they did really well on, but there were some things that were on the struggle bus. They didn't walk out like, "Wow, I got this." If you stop too soon, you won't reap the benefits. And the same thing with your workout and the same thing with your diet. You're not going to see the result in like a few days, weeks. Maybe you're going to start seeing something in 2 to 3 weeks. You might start noticing, you know, a couple months, you're going to start seeing more and more benefits, but it takes time.
Yep, it's not a destination, it's a journey. It's a lifestyle,
Right.
So yeah, you just stick with it. And people do, they quit too close. They're on that victory line and they quit. They're just like, this doesn't work for me. They throw their hands up and then they go back to the next yo-yo diet or pills or what have you. And I'm just gonna say it again, just eat whole foods. Eat whole foods. Anything in a package is probably gonna have some sugar. It's probably gonna have a bunch of chemicals. And so again, when you go to the
Sodium.
grocery store, stay on the outside, stay on the outside. You go inside, that's where they have all the packages. And now we're finding out like all the dyes and all these things that we ate as kids, being in the cereal capital, they're not really that good for you.
I mean, the
You
banquet chicken and all the stuff that we used to eat with
know?
all my Fruit Loops and Fruity Pebbles weren't good for
TV
me.
dinners and yeah, all that
Grew
that
up on it.
stuff. And it's just, yeah,
Yeah.
you have to be your own advocate and you have to learn how to read labels. You need to know what kind of fuel you need for your tank, right? And just stick to whole foods. Anything to package, probably shouldn't be eating it.
So run me through. So let's say I wanna work with you and I give you a shout. What does that process look like?
Well, I do an assessment and I look for like a body assessment to see how your balance is, meaning there's a couple little positions that I have you go in. And so say your body's like too far forward,
Yeah.
that means that we need to start working on the posterior chain. So all the back end business, because we're not balanced people.
Right.
And and then I do some, some strength and cardio tests, just kind of get a baseline of where the customer's at. Can you do 5 push-ups? Can you do more? Can you walk around the track or on a treadmill or maybe do jumping jacks without being out of breath? So there's all these different tests that I do. And then we talk about where are you at with nutrition? Do you need some guidance on that? So get your nutrition set. What are your goals? What are your fitness goals? Is it to have better balance? Is it to be stronger? Do you want more definition? You want muscles? Like what is it? And then let's just take maybe one or two of those goals and put you into a workout or a program, I should say, for a month in attainable goals. Like, hey, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in a month. No, you're not. Like what
Right.
safely,
What's realistic? Yeah.
safely, it's like 1.2 pounds or 2 pounds a
A
week
week.
is
Yeah.
safe weight loss. Okay. And when we talk about weight loss, we don't want to lose the muscle that you already have.
But I
So,
noticed that too, like a few years back, I dropped weight a lot. And um my I wasn't compensating with the muscle, right? So I'd get people like, "Are you all right?" Because I
because you're
lost,
looking really thin, right? You're looking
right.
really
I
thin.
I
Yep.
I lost a lot of my muscle definition and whatnot as I dropped the weight. I didn't keep my protein levels high enough and I wasn't lifting enough weights and it was not the same experience as I had when I was younger and you lost weight
Yes.
by far. And this I was probably I would think I was in my mid 40s, I think, at that point in time. So about probably 10 years ago. But I dropped a lot of weight, and the people are like, thinking I had cancer or something.
Yeah, because you're not healthy.
I'm like,
You're not
wow,
healthy. And
that
it shows.
changed. Yeah, that changed on how, you just can't arbitrarily drop weight. It's like you want to look. It's kind of funny. What you were saying. It reminded me of another guy who's trained with me, friend of mine. His name's Mitch Shooks. He's another really good personal trainer in town and whatnot. He said, yeah, basically, I help people look good naked.
Hmm.
Because
That's good.
he works with a
Yeah.
lot of like
It's
East
a
Grand
good
Rapids
summary. Yeah.
gals. He's funny.
I like
But
that.
so you take them through an evaluation, you check on their goals, on what they want, and then you start to prescribe,
Yeah, I
food.
can, and most of my work is 80% of it's done online.
That was
You know,
my next question. It's like you work,
yeah,
you work
80% is done online. I am located in West Michigan here, in specifically southeast side of Grand Rapids. So if you wanted a one-on-one, I'm willing to meet you at your gym is 30 miles, in either direction of 44th Street, or work out at my gym. So I have a customer right now. It's more of a hybrid situation where most of our one-on-ones, it's weekly one-on-ones. It's an hour of my time. We talk about, like, okay, how are you doing? I've set them up on a custom program, and they might have a home at home gym, or maybe they take me with them. So it's kind of the cool thing about having, our smartphones or whatever, and we'll walk through a workout,
have Kelly in your pocket.
Yeah, yeah, take me to the gym with you. And so I work with clients that way. Again, online, 80% of it is just one-on-one and online. I also teach classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays over lunchtime, Eastern Standard Time, 12:05 to 12:35. And I have students that show up for that. They just need a laptop, and I need to be able to see them, obviously, on video to make sure that they're doing things correctly. But yeah, I have people all over I'm gonna say the world, the United States, that chime in, and maybe they work at home, maybe they're at a home office, maybe they're on vacation, maybe they're they travel for sales. There's
Right.
no excuse really 2 times a week for 30 minutes that you can't take time to work out. And the classes, I try to vary them, like maybe we'll do some strength training, maybe we'll do bar, maybe we'll do
I like
some
going to
yoga.
the bar.
What's that?
I like going to the bar. That's
It's not that kind.
oh,
That kind. We're
okay, I get it.
like ballerina stuff, like
Yeah,
more Pilates ballerina, where you're really holding those poses, and it's tough. It's really tough. Oh goodness. Some kickboxing, cardio kickboxing, maybe some hit. Yeah, so I try to vary it up. The cool thing about it is if you can't make the class, I give you the weekly video.
nice.
So whatever we're working on, it's like, oh, well, that doesn't work because I have a meeting over lunch, or my kids are home, blah, blah, blah. No problem. You can still do it on your own. And plus you get all these healthy tips. And then I have a Facebook private group where I talk to the folks that have taken class from me, or are still in some of my classes or one-on-one. So I keep in touch that way. Um, but yeah, I mean, it can be just strictly nutritional coaching. It can be a combination. I like to do the combination,
Hmm.
because as I said
What's the best
earlier,
results, probably,
right,
I would
right,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You got
So,
an integrated system for them and set them up. And then a lot of it too is keeping people helping to motivate people and keep them on track.
yep,
Just
accountability,
yeah.
accountability.
Well, and
Just
and, and it's like, hey, somebody's in the ditch with you, figuring the things out, on your good days and your bad days, and helping motivate you for either the next challenge and getting you through stuff and keeping you on track. We typically always do more in groups or with another person than we would on our own.
the buddy
More
system,
consistent. Yeah, more
you
consistent.
know. And then also you got skin in the game. You've paid a personal trainer to keep you in line.
Huge.
Yeah, for me, I know. Like I'm Dutch. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get my money, get my money's worth, and
Exactly.
but you have to have that mindset where it's just like I am doing this,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna be consistent with it. You have to make promises to yourself
And
because
keep them.
and keep them.
Keep
That's right.
them.
Keep your promises to yourself because you only get one Earth suit, right?
One earth suit.
You only get one Earth suit, so take care of it. And it's just like I always do
I
this
like that.
analogy with a really nice car. You talked about my Maserati that I have.
Maserati.
Yeah, Maserati. Um, well, I don't have one, but
What are you driving
I
now?
I am driving a Jeep.
A Jeep, like a Jeep, like a Wrangler?
No, a Grand Cherokee. Grand
Grand Cherokee.
Cherokee.
Oh, it's so
So,
funny, right? So I drive a Honda Accord and it blew up. The
yeah,
motor blew on Christmas.
nice.
And so some of you, if you read my almost daily emails, it talked about it. But it's so funny because, so I got the motor replaced, I got it back, but the mechanic had given me his Jeep and he had this jacked up like mudder Jeep. I think it was a Rubicon or whatever with big
Yeah, those
old
are cool.
tires on it. And people, it's funny because people think that stuff's good in the snow. It ain't good in the snow. Those are horrible in the snow with the big tires and all that.
Yeah,
They're made
it's
for
more
dirt
for
and sand.
climbing dunes or
Yeah.
whatever,
So
back.
on the snow, I'm like, I got it in four-wheel drive, and I'm like, it's like driving a boat. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
super
because
glad.
they're jacked up for that, so it feels like you're
Yeah, you're like, "Meh." It was fun. Would have been probably more fun if I was 19. And it was yellow,
right.
bright, like bright yellow, like a bumblebee.
Love it.
Oh
Love
my
it.
God, it was so funny. And but I'm glad that I got my car back because I got snow tire Blizzaks and it does really well in the snow. And as you know, it's been the past this week has been snowmageddon.
Hmm.
So it's crazy.
Hmm.
But anyways, I digress. So I want to do two things. I want to make sure we get your contact information in case anybody doesn't. You don't even have to be the cool part, folks out there, is you don't have to be local to work with Kelly because there's this crazy thing called, the internet, and she can reach you anywhere. So if you are local, you can see and enjoy her company one-on-one in person live. But if you're not, doesn't matter. You can catch her online. So if someone wanted to get a hold of you, how would they go about doing that?
I would suggest going to my website, which is KJ slash fit, spelled FITT.com. KJ
Slash like
or hyphen, I'm sorry.
hyphen. Okay,
K,
that's good to
so K for Kelly, J for Jansen's,
hyphen.
hyphen, fit, FITT.com.
All right, I'll put that in the notes too, so people can have that. So KJ-Fitt, so KJ-FITT.com, and you
Yes.
can get a hold of Kelly and she can whip you into shape. So let's just do a quick, kind of not even a recap, I suppose. So training over 40, what are your main suggestions? No more than three.
Make sure your nutrition's on,
Nutrition,
like, or get help making sure your nutrition's on.
and basically when it comes to nutrition, what? Whole foods,
Whole
good
foods.
fats, enough
Yep. Make sure
protein.
you're getting enough protein in your diet, the healthy fats. And of course, your veggies and fruit come in there, but just add, if you don't think of this as a restrictive diet, it's not. Just add protein, try it. Add protein and 1 gram of protein per your body weight or your desired body weight. Okay.
So that means less. So if I want to be lighter, do I eat less?
Right, right. Pretty much. But just try it. Just try the 30-30-30 approach where 30 grams in the morning, 30 grams at lunch, 30 grams at dinner. Do a self project here where you're just like, I'm gonna see if this works. Try it for a week. So nutrition,
So nutrition, what's another two?
I would say just move.
Do
You know,
something.
yep. And especially if you're office person or you travel a lot, make sure you're getting up off your couch, your chair, your car. at least like every hour, like do something. And start adding things to your lifestyle, like the old-fashioned calisthenics, some of the stretching, and say I'm going to do 25 push-ups today. I'm going to do, whatever, mountain climbers or whatever. Move every day intentionally. And three would be, yeah, get into a regular routine, regular
So make it part
routine.
of your life.
Make it part of your life, yeah. And make sure you're doing it correctly. Don't hurt yourself. That's why there's personal trainers. That's why there's instructors. And just don't follow anybody's video online because maybe it's cheap or it's free.
You're
So,
not cheap or free.
nope,
Don't be
I'm
cheap or free. I'm not cheap or free.
not.
And there's a reason for that. You got to have
That's
skin in the game.
right.
So, training over
Yep.
40, three main things, what I'm hearing. Nutrition. So, eat whole foods, get your veggies in, get your amount of protein in, drink a bunch of water, and move. Do something. Don't wreck yourself, but move. And then the third thing was make it a lifestyle, right? So,
Yep. Make it a
do it all the
lifestyle.
time. So,
Yep.
what about
Don't
injury
forget.
prevention? Three things in injury prevention.
Make sure you're stretching, before you go, like warm up your body.
Warm up,
And
stretch.
yep, make sure that, dynamic stretching before and after. We didn't mention this, but the old foam roller, it's
Oh,
good
I
for
love the old
everyone.
foam
Yep,
roller.
that's really good for your body. You can do it before, you can do it after a workout, and strength training. Get some strength training in.
And injury recovery. What about injury recovery? Three things.
Make sure that you're giving your body a rest. Make
Oh,
sure
rest. Yeah.
rest in between working out. And also you're getting your nutrition in. You're doing there's nutrition timing, which that's a whole nother thing that we could talk about, but we don't have
Sure.
time yet today. But your nutritional timing, repairing that muscle, and don't overdo it. We're
Oh,
not,
yeah.
most of us on this podcast are not 20 anymore. So listen to your
What are you
body.
saying,
You know,
Kelly?
this is the old timer. No, just kidding.
Right, exactly. It's the old timers. All right, Sonny.
No, this is the mature workout crew here. So,
Gen Xers. A lot of us are Gen Xers. I mean, if you look, it's funny because if you look at my stats are majority of the people they're 45 to like
mhm,
65 are my
yep.
main folks, at least according to all the stats. You might not be listening out there. You might be 20, and that's great, but this is for you too. But most of the people that
Yeah, for
Spotify
things to
says
come.
listen to
For
me.
things to come.
Yeah. Yeah, train. That's the thing too, is like train well now so you don't wreck yourself worse later. I mean, I've got some chronic issues now just because of some of the things I put my body.
Overtraining.
Yeah, just what I put my body through over the years, and I
Yep.
have some
Mhm.
natural proclivity towards like arthritis and whatnot, and runs in the family, so that doesn't help. But like you keep going. You gotta
Yeah, and
but
on that
training smart
note,
from the beginning is better than trying to make up for it after the fact.
I want to
Mhm.
tail on that is that keep on moving. So for a year and a half, I was unable to walk. I had some ankle thing going on because I was for my profession.
It's from all that butt kicking. You're doing
Yeah,
too much
well,
butt kicking, hurt your ankle.
yeah, I was on my feet a lot for my day job as an events manager, and walking and standing on concrete. My body just couldn't do it anymore. But to my point is that I have other body parts to move.
Right.
That did not take me down like, oh, woe's me, I can't work out, or I got this ankle, whatever. It's like you got other body parts, move it. Could I go swimming? Yeah, that's why
Right.
I joined the
That's
croc.
why I joined Croc. I mean, because
Yeah,
um, you
low
know,
impact,
low
low
impact,
impact.
full
Yep, and
body,
it's swimming is an overall good toner, and
good for
just a great,
cardio, good for everything.
yeah, great for everything. So, don't have that mindset with like, oh, it runs in my family, or I'm always going to be fat. You keep on telling yourself that you will be.
Sure.
So tune up your mind and say, well, I can't use my arm today, but I got all these other parts of my body. I can walk. I can breathe, I can do some stretching. So don't get into that pit of despair, like, oh, no, this isn't working, blah, blah, blah. You got to keep on moving forward.
That's what I do too. I was telling you about my ankle. There is always something. I always have something hurt.
Yep.
I
Hmm.
mean, and if I waited until I was 100%
You won't be.
and feeling great, it's like that 2 days a year I would be training. And I tell the same thing with people in at the academy. Come and do what you can. I mean, if you're really, really, really sick or wrecked, then don't come. But
Right.
but most of the things you can work around, right? Although it's mentally it's hard for people, mentally and emotionally, because they want to do what everybody else is doing. And I get that, but you got to get over yourself. And you got to make sure you limit the stuff like, we've got some people just like on the podcast, we have an aging population that train at the academy. I'd say the average age of the folks at the academy is probably in their 40s, probably early 40s. We have some younger folks, we have some older folks. I think my oldest student is 72,
Hmm.
and we have it down in teenagers. But, if you're hurt or something, just don't stop coming to class. Just adjust what you do. Maybe you've got to sit down on a couple things, maybe you got to alter some things or, modify and really communicate with your partners on, what you can and cannot do. And that way you can continue to train. Again, we're a binge nation. We either want to do all on or all off, and that's not going to work for the long haul.
Hmm. Yep.
So two more things, and then we'll wrap it up here. We're not going to get much into this because I want to do another podcast with you on this. But recently, you wrote a book,
I did.
and
I did. Yeah. It is called Outside God's Umbrella. So it's my personal story about a very dark time in my life, and just how I got through it, through a lot of adversity and um, or making it through a lot of adversity. And during this time, yeah, just working on all of me. Besides the physical, I still was, working out. Um, but just yeah, spiritually, emotionally, just getting through a difficult time. And the reason why I wrote it is to help other people. There's a lot of lessons that I learned in here through this time. But yeah, so it's out on Amazon. Outside God's Umbrella: A Journey from Darkness to Divine Light. Kelly Jansen's Mensch.
just can you share very, very briefly? I mean, I know it was a dark time for you. I remember when it happened and everything, but would you feel comfortable just very briefly saying what that dark time was and then, kind
Yeah,
of within
just
the book?
yeah, I yeah, I met a person online and through one of the social platforms, and just being very trusting and gullible and naive. I, went along with, this person just paying a lot of attention to me and liking everything that I did and where I went and what I did and blah blah blah. And that conversation from the public platform went into a private platform, and we decided to meet up. And that meetup changed the rest of my life. There was a tragic event that happened that night, and there was a lot of accusations of there was a death, and I was incarcerated, and yeah, it was someplace that I never thought I would go. That's not how I set my life out to be. And but I've mustered through it, and it happened a long time ago. But just I guess some big takeaways through that time was, learning who I was at that time before this accident happened and during, and who I am today. And um, social media awareness. mean, I had the physical awareness. I learned that learned that from my time with Craig at Ronin Martial Arts. Um, but I guess it's just the mental part of, just I guess being aware of everything's online, and it's a different way of communicating with people, and just yeah, just found myself caught up into a nightmare basically. But yeah, so that's just in a nutshell, a little bit of my story. You have to get the book to read it through, and it's kind of exciting. It's been out for 3 weeks, and I hit #1 on Amazon's new release in the gender,
So-
yeah, that my book's in.
And I'm happy to say and honored to say that Kelly was signed my book, and I was the first book that Kelly signed
I
actually.
know
But
it caught me off guard. Yeah, we met to wrap up some. Oh, we have a conference coming up that Craig will let me talk about briefly. But yeah, we were met to wrap up some conference details because uh, Ronin. I say Ronin Martial Arts, but then you go by
yeah, it's
Ronin.
fine.
Okay, is going to be at my conference, which I'm super excited to have them there and are represented. And then yeah, he brought his book. He kind of surprised me and asked for me to sign it. And
About your book, not my book.
yeah, or well, yeah, right. But I was just taken off guard because this authorship is new, and again, I just like I never thought I would be in the position I was in, years ago, um, to tell my story. Now I'm an author, and my hope is just that I can help people through this, whatever adversities that they may be going through in life. Because again, there's a lot of lessons in the book.
Well, people are very intrigued now. Like, people died, people got arrested, there was
You have to read
intrigue
it.
stuff.
You have
Got
to
to read
read
the
it.
book, got to pick
Got
up
to
the
read the
book
book.
and share in the lessons that Kelly had learned and some of the adversity she went through and how she came through it. But that would be a good another podcast. So I'll invite you on another podcast and we can actually go into your book a little bit. There's a lot there, but I highly recommend everyone out there pick it up. I'll put a link for that too. And then we alluded to it a little bit, but you are running a program, a conference called She Shines, and it's all about
Yeah.
women's empowerment, right?
Women empowerment. I had a desire in my heart like the last 3 years. I do events. I've been doing events for 25 years, but just to provide like a safe place, a day out, especially in West Michigan here, it's so like dark and gloomy, and everybody's kind of inside. Like, bring some sunshine to a bunch of ladies and be surrounded by just positivity, inspiration and some cool vendor partners such as Ronin Martial Arts. So bringing some of those services and products to ladies of West Michigan. Also, there will be some speakers. I'm going to be one of the speakers. I'll be touching a little bit on my story. And we have two other ladies, Emily Klotz and Latricia Trice, that will be speaking. Latricia is speaking on balance and boundaries. Emily is speaking on finding your shine when you've lost it. And I will be talking about umbrellas and sunshine and how to navigate through storms in life. So I'm hoping that, yeah, people or ladies can just come, be refreshed, be empowered, um, and just, connect. Maybe there's something that you'll connect with a speaker, or just like a nice day out for you. It's held at the Crack Center. We've mentioned the Crack Center a couple times here. It's the Salvation Army Crack Center, which is located on Division in Grand Rapids. It's a beautiful building. We are in the fireside room. You do need to get tickets in advance. Tickets are $35, and that includes the whole day. Oh, and the big thing, fashion show. So we have
Fashion
a
show.
fashion show, ladies, from the folks in Runway Angels Consignment Shop. They're located in Ada, Michigan, and they're bringing in some models and some cool fashion. So we got the fashion show. We got some great vendors. You can find some products and services. We got our speakers, and there's lunch provided, and then some giveaways. So some of the vendors have provided these raffle items, and so you're going to be surprised. And just that just came up this week, Ludamaz, who is a local florist. They've come on board and they have something special for the first 100 ladies in the door. Our other two sponsors that I just want to mention, Bumblebee Ice Cream Carts, located in Walker, Michigan, and Color Ink Labs. They are located in Granville. So shout out to those guys. They're making this happen, and we're very, very, very thankful.
Very cool. Yeah, so ladies out there, She Shines. It's at the Croc Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan on,
Oh,
oh,
February 8th.
that's what, why am I,
February 8th.
February,
Tickets you
Saturday,
can get
February.
on eventbrite.com. Look for She Shines Women's Day Out in Grand Rapids, Michigan. $35. You have to have the tickets before you come.
No getting in the door if you don't have tickets, folks. Maybe if you slide Kelly $50 or $100, you can bribe her to come too. She is Dutch, so. Hey, speaking of, like, are there any like coupons that go with it?
No, no coupons. No, no. I think that's quite a good deal.
That's a great
$35 for,
deal.
yeah, for a whole day.
That's a
And
great deal.
you
The
know,
speakers
my
and
heart's desire is that people walk out with a full heart, like they're filled, just to be able to, again, just it's a bright time, bright spot in their life. And yeah, I just that's where I'm at. I just want to empower and inspire.
and that is a good place to start, I think. You know, because we got to stick together, go out there, get some inspiration, hear some good stories, go to the vendors. I'll have a booth there too, so you can check that out.
Do you have a
And
special deal? Did you want to talk about your
do have a
special?
special deal. And if you go to She Shines, you can see it. So there you go. But it's probably a good place to stop. So thanks for joining me today, Kelly. I really appreciate you sharing some of your story and sharing, some tips, tricks, and tactics on training over 40 because, we're all in this together and none of us are getting any younger. We
Mhm.
gotta keep going. So if you want to consult with Kelly about fitness, if you go to KJ-Fitt.com, you can get a hold of Kelly and she can get you whipped up into shape, get your nutrition straightened out. She can do it locally or if you're online. And I'll put that information in the notes, in the show notes, and then also I'll put the information for She Shines. So She Shines is going to be in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the Croc Center on Division, and that is going to be on February 8th, and it starts at what, 8 a.m.?
Registration's 8:45, and the
Okay, so
program starts at 9:30.
registration will get there by 8:45. You need a ticket to get in. I'll put the link on the page here. It's $35 a head, and you're not going to want to miss it. So make sure you stop by my booth too, and you can see the little special that I got going on. But it's a good way to start your new year out and kind of get going on the right foot or add a little bit of brightness. So get going on that, ladies. In the meantime, I really appreciate everybody joining us today. Thanks, Kelly, for coming on.
Yeah,
Thank all
thank
you
you for
folks for
having me
listening.
on. It's an honor. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll have you on again too. We'll go through your book. That'd be great. And thank you, everyone out there, for joining us and listening in. And once again, if you haven't yet, get on our free private community. That's peacewalker.mn.co, where there's no shortages of things to do right now on good old Peace Walker, right? You got Kelly's link and the She Shines link and my links. So the support and information and transformations out there waiting for you, but you got to want it. I can't want it for you. Kelly can't want it for you. You got to want it for yourself. So if you want to be a better protector, live the lifestyle of a peace walker, get on peacewalker.m.co, get access to a free private community, start getting the tools that you need to be a better protector and the community that helps support you to do that. You're also going to get access to my almost daily emails where I'll try to do the best that I can to keep you motivated and to keep you kind of dialed in on this lifestyle of being peace walker, which being fit and having good nutrition is a huge part of it. So don't forget about Kelly if you want some help on that. So thanks again, folks. Take care. We'll see you soon and keep going.